Yeah, we back at it like a craftmatic. My back's at it and I'm a relaxed addict. None of that made any sense, but it does not matter. We're here once again. It's the Lab Chronicles. Yours truly, Slang Hugh. And I don't have no co-host, no co-brethren. It's the first time I'm by myself. The man them abandoned me. DJ Finn, I don't know what happened. Snooze, I don't know what happened. And Sibs is not even here. This is crazy. But I'm here. I got two other brothers in the building. So they're gonna help me out. We'll do that conversational banter back and forth and all of that. So we got. I'm gonna say this. To me, the man them are legends. I don't care what y'all think. It doesn't matter. To me, the man them are legends. They've been doing what they do for a long time, both on both sides of the mic, on both sides of the speaker. These dudes have been putting in. We got James Jones and DJ Nana in the building.
Well, to get such a dope intro from a legend yourself is mad appreciative. So the feeling is mutual, man.
I'm just here.
Yeah, I'm just excited to be in the studio with the original Remington Steel.
See, people are not supposed to know this.
Esquire.
Those stats. I still keep the Esquire though.
Do you?
Sir Slang Hugh Esquire.
Nice.
What gets the Esquire and what doesn't get the Esquire?
I have no reasoning. Just like the Esquire has no real reasoning. It just sounds.
It sounds dope.
Can like anyone use Esquire? There's no like.
Isn't it? It's reserved for a certain shit. And I looked this up at the time when I did it, like when I first did it.
The fact that we can't like call it up real quick means it's probably not an easy one to enforce.
It doesn't matter. Esquire it is. James Esquire.
James Jones Esquire.
That's what it is. So how you guys doing?
Good.
Everybody's good?
Yeah, it's coolin', man. You know, again, like to do or to have the opportunity to do any press per se is always a blessing, and to get the opportunity to do it is also a blessing. Personally, like James knows from when we first ever got together and started creating music, like it was one of the rules. I was like, yo man, I'm gonna make this music, you're gonna do all the press. Like that was one of the things. So forgive my energy, because it's just like,
no way, man.
I'm whatever man. I'm a whatever man when it comes to this stuff.
Over here at the Lab Chronicles, everything is natural, bro.
That's what's
you
up.
do whatever you feel.
That's what's up.
That's what it is. But the first question we usually ask is, what were you guys listening to on the way over here?
Oh, word.
Music or not music?
Oh yeah,
music. Is it a release that's gonna come out or?
No, so flipping, I drove up here with the homie James after a gig, and in the whip, all I have are things that I've made.
Scene.
So like, and not even on some cocky. No. It's just like lately, like the car test.
Scene. Yes.
So it's just
infamous car test.
Straight up.
Yes.
So what James is mentioning, referencing is I did what I call an album, a Nipsey album. I made an album out of all of the acapellas that I have of his. I've made a track out of them.
Dope.
So I have about like, I think at least 26 songs.
26.
So we were just listening to some of them. Some of them I've released on every Sunday I do something on my SoundCloud. I call it a Sunday something.
Yes.
So for the past few Sundays I've been dropping some of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the whole idea of like, i.e. if all of the 26 songs will be shared. Mm-hmm. But yeah, sorry, that's what we were listening to.
Scene. And so the one you're listening to doesn't have a name, or you're listening to a bunch of them on the way over?
Oh, yeah.
It's a long ride out.
Don't kill me. What's?
I might have made it rib 25.
I'm ribbing you now, man. Just hitting you with those low blows now, straight.
What was I listening to? Oh, well, see, so you're not alone. I was listening to my beats.
Nice.
On the way over here.
Nice.
Because, Casino and Leone, I knew they were coming, so I was trying to think of what they would like, which never works. It never works. That's why I tell people, and We can even start right from there.
From the way you're nodding, I was actually gonna ask, like, is there ever a thing that makes that work?
No, I want to hear what Slang was saying. I want him to finish.
The rule of thumb, I tell everybody. I even had this conversation with a guy today because he had an artist that he wanted me to send beats for. And I was like, man, if she could come in the studio and just listen to a bunch of beats, I would much prefer it. She ended up just wanting me to send them. Fine. Everybody has their process. Not everybody wants to go and sit down and listen and blah, blah, blah. But it always comes to me like, I'm just picking out of the air. I don't know what vibe you're in.
Totally.
I don't know what you're looking for at that moment. And even sometimes, speaking as an artist, you're looking for a vibe, but you hear something else. And it just takes you on a different journey.
Plus, you have to understand, I guess, why they're coming to you. Because I've always found, like, people who give me their I. James beat.
Yes.
And sometimes that's the perfect thing. And other times it's like their interpretation of an I. James beat is either someplace that I've already been or not quite
there yet.
Yeah, like, oh, that's how you see me is how I take the beat package. And it's like, okay.
Basically saying it's insulting. Just
a little bit.
Sometimes.
But not, no.
I get it though. I get that.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, it's like you're sitting on hundreds of pieces of music, and if somebody wants to hear 3 of them, how do you pick it? Like, as an artist, if you're serious about it, you're probably leading the conversation earlier, so it's not like that. It'd be like, I'm looking for things like this for this project, or...
Okay, so on a hit and miss scale, do you find you hit by just sending people music, or do you even... What is your process when it comes to...
Oh, man, it's crazy that you ask, because it's a constant... Like, you're constantly trying to refine it.
Mm-hmm.
Like... Off the top, I think of having this conversation with Rich Kid a few years back.
Big up, Rich Kid. We need you on the show, bro. Check your
I'm
DMs.
sure he would love to do it, man. I'm sure he would love to do it. So yeah, like I remember talking to him about it, and because I was always in awe, like being a fan of his work. To hear his frustrations from time to time when artists weren't picking, when he would send a zip or a beat file, a folder to somebody and they didn't pick anything, or they picked something that was totally, like as you guys are discussing, totally like the thing that they didn't expect, and to hear him be frustrated about it kind of was... I don't want to sound like I was happy that he was feeling pain, but it was refreshing to hear. Because personally I've been under the impression that I guess I conditioned myself to think my shit is whack because or I got to a point where I didn't look for other people's validation because I was used to being told my shit was whack, or my shit didn't hit the way that it was supposed to hit, or blah 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 blah. So to long-winded and to double back and to answer your question, I've done it all, and I've just gotten to the point where it's just like, yo, I prefer if somebody's actually interested in, if they're actually interested in what it is that I do, if they for real are interested in what it is that I do, I'd rather them come to the stew and just kick it, just chill, and then either like from the vibe of us hanging out, I can get an idea of what you would like, or I'll make something on the fly, like I'll make something while you're here, and hopefully that through being here through the process, you not only understand how I get down, but maybe you'll have a better appreciation for what it is that we're doing.
Yes.
Because I think we were actually kind of even talking about this on the way up here, to the extent of what people think they're supposed to, they have an idea of what it is that they're supposed to have, but they don't know what it is that they're looking for in the first place.
That's a fact. And if you're a true artist, that's kind of how it should be. Your canvas is empty.
No doubt.
And you might pick the paint, the colors, and you might even know what you're going to paint, but you don't exactly know how it's going to turn out.
Well, especially with something that requires so much collaboration, because it's where you guys are in the position of being able to construct the project all the way through, and if you choose not have anybody involved in it, for an artist coming to producers to fulfill their sound, it becomes a really tricky place to navigate, because you have to take on somebody else's sound and story and thing, like all those things you can't.
That is true.
People will try in the liner notes from time to time to remove an energy from a piece of music, but you can't actually, like, it becomes a part of your vision at that point, which is the funny part. Going back on the other side is, like, though you hate to get certain beats picked for you,
Right.
like, there is also a point where there's too much, like, where you can hear so much and it can go in so many different ways, and you end up looking at it like, is this the next year of your life, or am I picking a beat?
Right.
Because,
right.
like, if you go down the rabbit hole with this sound or this thing,
Yeah.
so I guess that becomes the trick if you're trying to sell stuff.
So speaking on the artist side of things, then do you prefer? Oh, I probably should have said this. So James is a rapper, artist extraordinaire. He also produces. He's also a man that plays instruments, does his thing. So that's kind of why I didn't do that at the beginning. Now that I think about it, DJ Nana, the DJ speaks for itself. And he does almost everything I just said for James as well. So these are just basically music renaissance man in the building with me and the Wooly producer / rapper. Anyway, as I was
too modest.
As a oh, he's right. I'm a podcast host too. As an artist,
You're a blog writer. The blog writer.
Many things, my friend. Many things.
I heard you rap though.
Yeah, once in a blue.
Don't you got a label?
Yeah, sometimes.
Aren't you a promoter?
So this thing's going on.
Many hats.
Man, there's all too many hats. You're right. Okay.
Many hats.
You got me. Back to you guys. So, as an artist, do you prefer doing a project with one producer, or do you prefer many? Or both experiences uniquely gratifying?
I think both are uniquely gratifying. Over the years, it's changed as well. I always was the kind of, like, I would rather had my neighbor play tambourine on something than somebody that I didn't know involved with something.
Okay.
But the flip, like, the reason me and Nana still work together is because I also found a lot in being able to sort of give part of that process to somebody else. And, like, of all the things that we can do, like, often with resistance, but, like, still go to different places and, like, build trust that way, because with continuity you get that trust and you get to go to more places and make mistakes and have all that shit that doesn't really get. We were kind of talking about this on the way here too, in a slightly different thing, but, like, people lose the joy now of making music because it's about making a product and making a this and, like, mistakes and fuck ups and, like, ideas that didn't totally work this time but pull back again later. Like, when you have a continuity and a feel, it can sustain itself differently. And that part can't be replaced by just doing things like
just to do it.
You know what I mean?
I think that's part of it as well. And again, what we were tying into what we were talking about, I think that there's a part of the art where the artist is overcompensating, and that overcompensation turns into, like, that bravado, the machismo, like the cop kids, like that, the ego, all that stuff that they believe that they have to personify, and that the character, but and then through that character, they become artists, or all of, like, creatives forget the process, or they're not as honest with themselves in terms of learning the process. Like, basically what I'm getting at is, I obviously didn't know what I was doing when I first picked up records to DJ, or when that turned into making a beat. And then from fear of actually just diving in, you preferred to have like a quote unquote mentor or somebody else who knew what they were doing give you their walk you through the situation, when in reality you have to walk it your own way and learn, like fall on your face, get up, learn the process, and through that then create your process. So to double back, like I feel like a lot of us, and especially within hip hop, like the whole idea was always posturing. The whole idea was always front like it was something, but really and truly hiding the truth.
And King Kong at all times.
Exactly, and that to me is why, like again, like the battle between like old head and young head is where we're at right now. Is like the old heads, they weren't being honest all the while they were fronting like they knew everything. They weren't giving up all the goods. The young buck was the person running up to them, being like, "Yo, how did you do this? How did you do this?" They didn't know. They didn't want to give up that information, because they felt like if they gave up that information, they would seem as lesser. Then the young buck goes about it themselves, learns it, and then becomes whatever they are. And then like that battle is like, yo, what the hell? Like, why are you mad at me? I had to learn it my own way, and now I'm doing it, and now you're hating on me? Like
you told me to.
Yeah, exactly. So that is part of it, where I also feel like it's like, okay, well, we don't really know what we're doing. We're still trying to, like, we're figuring out what it is that we're trying to do. So through that figuring it out, then we create our thing, and then boom, having enough confidence to continue on is the next thing. Like, is another tier.
You never truly know what you're doing.
Never. I don't think you ever.
The moment you know it in art, and I'm not an expert at any other form of art, but as far as could think art, if you start to feel like you know what you're doing, you're bored. Then it's just a routine.
That's another good point. That's another good point.
I don't think you should ever feel like you know what you're doing. That would be my thing. But okay, we're getting all philosophical and shit. Let's get to the grassroots of the thing. How did you start in music? Let's start with you now. How did you start your love for your journey and your love in music? How did that begin?
Wow. It has to be my parents. Like, it has to be like Nana. I'm of Ghanaian descent, West Africa. My parents, I'm Nana Jr. I'm named after my pops. My mother, Juliana. I have an older sister, a younger sister. I'm the middle child. So through like the fam, also like grew up in Waterloo. Toronto is the back of my hand. My mad family out here, like, spent like every weekend, every summer, pretty much as long as I remember being out here visiting family or doing something.
How long you been living in Toronto?
Living in Toronto since '98.
'98, okay.
Yeah, since '98, and but yeah, was born and raised in Waterloo.
Okay.
But yeah, it would have to be through my parents and like their record collection, like really and truly. And then, like, I don't even remember this, but my dad told my sister my younger sister this story. Apparently, I knew what an instrumental was before I actually even knew what an instrumental was. And, like, to the point where I call it, like, the cemental. Like, I told my dad, I was like, oh, that's the cemental version. And I must have picked that up from my big sister at the time. But, like, that, like, again, it's a joke between my little sister and my dad. And sorry, you mentioning that, like, that's all I can think of. Is this like somehow, some way, you know, being whether it being the only boy or whatever it was, like, you gravitated to music, obviously, because you hear music, and as time went on, it was always a hobby, but it was never necessarily like the end all and be all. It was always just something to do.
Right.
When it became, would like to do this, it would probably be middle school, high school, where then that's when I started dabbling with the DJing. That's when I started dabbling with making beats. Shout out to my boy Rob Avec. He was the gentleman who was like, yo, I'm gonna buy this MPC. I see this thing in the Source magazine. Like, are you down to put in money with me? And it was just like, yeah, sure. So then from that literally from that point, and then
Oh, sorry. What age was that?
Has to be somewhere between like, I think it's between 13 and 16.
Okay.
Let's say 16. Let me be safe. It was 16 because I remember it was like, put your hands where my eyes can see. And that was like, it was like, yo, this dude, Rashard Patterson, used the MPC 2000 to make, I think I'm going to get it. And it was just like, okay, cool. Like, and then, if you remember, like, as I'm looking at your Piece magazine, if you remember the Source magazines, they had, like, the kit. Like, you could buy your turntables, or you could buy it, you could buy your SP, or you could buy whatever. So he bought it right out of the Source.
From the Source?
He bought it straight out the Source. And then from there, like, tinkering with him, then I ended up buying my own, and then...
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that'll hear that and think they just went to the Source. Source
magazine. Source magazine before it was online.
Wow.
When you guys hear about 5 mics, you know, when you hear these stories about 5 mics, it was from this magazine called The Source.
Yep.
So yeah. Paper magazine, paper.
So the MPC, they paid for it, like the mics in the Source.
Akai, yes.
Oh, that's not gonna sound good later, but whatever. Okay, so you didn't start DJing first?
I did start DJing was, when was that? Like 13? 13? 13. DJing in a like taking it back to roller skating rink.
Oh,
that was the first. That was my first gig.
Infamous
first gig was working at a roller skating rink.
Yeah.
From roller skating rink to high school dances, and then from roller skating rink to throwing my own parties. Like having my older sister rent out spaces, to being able to do high school dances, to and then mixtapes and all the while. It was my 17th or 16th birthday party where it was that was when I was like, yo, I gotta get better at this. I have to do this series. I have to figure out. But it still wasn't what I was gonna do. Right. It was again,
an obsessed hobby.
Yeah, it was a hobby. Growing up in Waterloo, coming here to university, just trying not to be quote unquote the typical black male. Trying to figure out what it is that I was trying to do as being an individual, how to contribute to the world. Again, being from Waterloo, not many black families, feeling as though that there was a stigma. All the while in Waterloo, I was throwing parties and doing all that sort of stuff. Right. But I felt like I needed to get away from it. It was after I threw it away, it came back, and that was in my second year, mid first year university, going into my second year, where it was okay, I'm going at this hard. Right. In high school and everything, I was doing it as a hobby. I was collecting records. I was going to North by Northeast. I was going to our equivalent to How Can I Be Down? I forget what it was called. Northern Exposure. Okay. I was going to I was basically going to all the conferences and whatever, and getting myself involved in it, but still not necessarily knowing what I was doing or knowing if this is what I was going to do. Right.
And where you would fit in.
Yeah, and where I would fit in. Okay. Because that was because it was I wasn't even if I had to make a decision, when I had to make the decision to go to school, go to university or do something else, I was trying to continue to pursue music. Right. My parents weren't having it.
Of course.
Never. Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, I didn't mean to take away thunder from anybody, but yeah, that's I can't even really think of it was always something that I did, right. But it only became, yo, I'm gonna do this.
So
after my first year,
was there something that happened? Was there a moment, or
it was? Again, because I'm the type of dude that always does the, show me a sign. Or is looking for something to happen, something huge has to happen to change the tide. Mm-hmm. I was living on campus my first 2 years. I'm still on campus, listening to the radio. Mm-hmm. It was through my first year. People would come to my door being like, what is it that you're playing? And I would always be like, yo, how do these, not realizing like living on campus was a whole different planet than Toronto itself.
Yeah.
Like Toronto during the day.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when people are there, boom, boom, boom. But then Toronto at night, and then being on the campus,
Is everybody else?
no one is like
From there.
no one knows Toronto. They only know this campus,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
and
That's
everybody's
interesting.
coming from a different part of the world. So it was just like a whole like it was just like so one part of it would be like, yo, what do you mean? Like we're in Toronto, you don't know this? And then next minute it'll be like, oh wow, I completely have to remind myself like these cats have no clue. They're not in
Right.
tune as much as maybe I was. So that was the first thing, and then the second thing was literally going to the radio station, York University radio station, or 105.5 radio station now is located in their student center, like in the cafeteria, basically on the top floor. So I could be listening to the radio station in my dorm room, and then I can leave my dorm room and go into the student center and go to the top floor, and you can actually look into the radio station.
Right.
So that's what I did. Like literally, I'm like listening to the radio, and I'm like, yo, what the hell? Who is this playing this? Like I need to see this person. Go to the radio, go to the station and see these cats, and I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. And talk to them. Like, yo, I'm listening to you.
That's crazy.
And through that, they were like, yo, if you got records, come through.
Scene.
And that's what it was. And it was just like, do I have records? Like, you guys have no clue how much records I have.
Alchemist.
I didn't bring no records with me. I left them all at my parents. Like, I left them all in Waterloo. So, like, went home for Christmas, came back with, like, a recycling bin full of records, and then that's when I got right back into it.
Scene. Everything happens for a reason, people.
Straight.
That's one of those stories. Hi, James. So I know you got a journey. How did it begin?
It's funny, actually, because I would have started the story later, but it's definitely parents' records collection.
Always the parents' records, man.
Which
that's the thing. Like, sorry to cut you off.
No.
I just don't know how. Maybe not even this generation. Might be the one after. Are they gonna be subject to their parents' music like we were? Like, well, we talk about this a lot on this podcast. That we were forced to listen to different genres because our parents, we didn't have our own well, we eventually got your Walkmans, but before that you didn't have your own iPad and own thing to listen to whatever you wanted to listen to.
And when we were kids, the
point.
radio and everything was aimed at a higher audience, where now it's aimed at
A lower
the children,
audience.
right?
Yes. But
That's
yes,
a really good
sorry,
question.
back to the parents' records.
Yeah, it would have been going through parents' records, and then my older sister bringing, like, in particular when it comes to MCing, my sister bringing home records, because, like, I grew up in Mississauga, and, you know, Fear of a Black Planet showed up in the house, and, you know, like, blew a little white boy's mind. And then, but with music in terms of, like, embracing it as part of my life, like, it wasn't until I was probably way too old to start considering it that I realized, like, because it was never really a choice. It was, like, I loved music. Like, when I was a kid, I'd pick up guitars and pretend that I was doing a show, you know what I mean, all the time. And then just at different moments of opportunity would show up, and it wouldn't even be, like, a pre-thought thing. Like, I joined my first band in high school. Like, I'd done school choirs and stuff growing up just because I sang. And, you know, like, even then it wasn't, I don't remember there being a choice. You know what I mean? It just seemed like what I did. And then I joined my first band because I heard these guys that I knew in the hallway in high school talking about how they'd kicked their singer out of their band. And I was just like, yo, you guys need a singer? I can sing. I got this. And then I turned around the corner and my girlfriend asked what was up, and I was like, I think I just joined a band. I'm like,
just like that.
And, like, for me, a lot, I mean, even at the point where there was more releasing and shows and things going on, music's always really just been a personal thing. Like, I got my 8-track and things that rarely see the light of day. And
So when do you think, what age was it that you made the choice, for lack of better words? where you realized that this is a lifelong commitment? So
I realized I played baseball when I was a kid as well, and I was captain of my team, and we were in a semifinal game, and the band I was in had its first studio time booked at Metalworks.
See.
And it overlapped with the semifinal game.
Yeah. And you had to make that choice.
And there was one lead
Literally.
singer in the band, and there's a bunch of other guys that can play ball. So that was the first time I realized, like, okay, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then it would have been after high school when I was like, no, this is actually what I want to do, and I feel I can make a living with it. But even at that, there was all kinds of weird twists and turns, like
pulls and
the way I start, because rapping became a thing almost immediately from the first time it was introduced to me. But it was a very like it's funny with the kids now. Like there was Search, and there was Search, and then there was Vanilla Ice, and that wasn't, you know what I mean.
Well,
so
Pete Nice is nice too. Third base in general. Well,
you know what I mean. But like. So for me, it was always like a really private thing, and I was a really private person. And I started playing in bands and playing drums, and then it slowly became a thing. And when I realized, like, no, I'm gonna MC, it happened almost like I called it in the car on the way to a party, and ended up at another party and another party, and then we were at this drum and bass party, and it looked like they were just letting anybody on the mic, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna do this, and I'm.
So, okay, but hold on now. Leading up to that, had you written something, or was it freestyle?
It was freestyle.
And you just...
I love... And
that's crazy.
I love cypher freestyling. Yeah. But the thing that I love the most is standing on a stage with a shit ton of people not knowing what the fuck I'm gonna say, and making that work. Like there's a rush that comes with it, and the control that it forces, and like
I could never do that, but I could see that.
And then I mean, it was silly almost that I did it how I did it at first, but then because when I was deciding how I was gonna go about it, hip hop was what birthed. Right. I mean, you fucking emceeing. Like, that's... Yeah. But in Toronto at the time, jungle was huge, and I could get paid money to perform in front of hundreds of people or thousands of people, or pay money to play in front of 20 people that want to hate me and tell me how much their voice better, right?
Yeah. Wait till you come off stage and whisper that to you.
Yeah.
Hey, good job.
The dope thing about coming up the other way was like, we got good at it, and we're doing 2-3 hour sets, and like I don't want to write and regurgitate the same things I'm doing. So like learning how to work with a crowd and learning how to pull and be quick, it became like rhyme training at that point for me. Was like I didn't go anywhere without trying to rap the street signs or like flipping through a book and trying to just pick out words, or like it was just
much different path than most MCs.
Yeah.
Well, most hip hop MCs. You took a jungle route and then came out to the hip hop. You dabble back and forth, I assume. Anyway,
I brought a very hip hop style to what I was doing
over there. Okay.
And the rise and fall of the Toronto jungle scene is like it was tragic.
Don't kill me.
I mean, it's still out. The people are still doing it, but like the difference is right now it's a style of music. And the things that coalesce around that, but there was being a junglist was like it was a
thing.
You know what I mean? Like being a backpacker at one point meant a certain thing to you, but a junglist was like a real certain, like it was a code. You know what I mean? And they hit a point where you just realized like it wasn't that, and like having a mic in your hand at raves and realizing what everything's became kind of a
turn off.
Yeah, I mean, at one point it got dangerous. You know what I mean? There was like.
Sounds like hip hop to me.
Well, the joke. There was a point I remember because I may or may not have outed an undercover cop at a party at the docks.
Whoa.
And my life became very, very weird afterwards, and I realized that like at least in hip hop I'd get a like free I James shirt or an RIP I James shirt.
But in
the jungle
bad.
scene, like, because I mean, at that point, the Toronto police used to take the little jungle kids down to Cherry Beach, beat the shit out of them, feed them full of drugs, and drop them off at the hospital.
Well, this podcast took a turn.
Yeah, sorry, real quick. But that was... And I was like,
yeah, in the heights of the danger.
Because once it hit the point where I realized it didn't mean anything, I like it didn't feel. And by that point, my life had led me to people and places, and like it just meant taking the music that I was making and not putting out into the world needed to take a different route.
Well, okay. So speaking of that, now speaking of you had a jungle experience, I also noticed that there's an eclectic sound. Like, we're speaking a lot in hip-hop terms, but you as a producer don't stick to hip-hop. You produce everything. Damn near everything. Is there anything you haven't tried yet? Country and Western?
Yeah, I haven't done it. Like, I mean, nothing that I've played to anybody.
Oh.
But
say you got an old country road in the stash.
Well, it's funny because, well, I mean, like just as you mentioned country, like my mom is a huge country fan.
Yeah,
and word. Yeah. So like it would be country, like from my mom. Mm-hmm. My dad would be like well, actually, I'm sorry. My mom would be country, like a pop, adult, contemporary, and high life, like Ghana, like music from the continent, from Ghana.
Yeah.
And then my dad would be high life, funk, or like disco, or funk disco. Mm-hmm. He would entertain like myself and my sisters, like when they would come to like hip hop and stuff like that. He would like you would find like, oh, where's my tape? Oh, he has it in the car. Like if we didn't leave it in the car, he took it. Oh, okay, word. Yeah. Or like even still like sometimes we're we're my dad's picking us up and a friend will be like, your dad's listening to this, and I'll be like, yeah. Sometimes he runs it. Yeah. So like he would be the one who would be willing to take in the new and the old.
Right.
But anyways, like I am a fan of all genres of music. I like music. I've always been like, even as when I dial back into my mind and being like, it wasn't just like there wasn't hip hop. Like what was I listening? Like I was listening to the radio. I was listening to everything.
Right.
Like I brought my sister. Like I remember it was like Soul to Soul to like to CNC Music Factory.
CNC.
You know what I'm saying?
Factory.
Like Milli Vanilli to Vanilla Ice. They went all over the place. So so when it comes to creating, that's the same mentality. I'm in that mentality where I aspire to create anything and everything.
So okay, so this is a question I ask to every producer that comes in here, and since we all philosophical as shit, but we still talking producer stuff. What's your process? Do you have a process, like when you sit down, stand up, put your mind to making a beat? Mm-hmm. How does it start?
It could start by listening to a record, like literally listening to anything, like like just putting on a record and listening to something, be it hip hop, be it a sample record, be it whatever. It could be that. Mm-hmm. It could be drums, like me hearing a drum pattern, something that, like I could be DJing a gig, and I could pull up a song, and then I could hear like a break in something that I played and be like, oh shit, like write that down. Like when you go back home, jack those drums and then build something. Mm-hmm. It could be something. It could be that. It could be just random sounds. It could be like, playing on whatever program that you're messing with and you're just listening to a bunch of sounds. Mm-hmm. Like, really and truly, there is no method to the madness.
It's just however you're feeling.
It's just literally how I'm feeling. And
so does the room have to be set up any kind of way? You're burning incense? You have sage? What would you...
it's like...
A pentagram on the floor?
Typically, I like... Most of us enjoy working at night. Mm. So if I'm working at night, it's like lights off. Like literally, like I'm in the dark.
No, really?
I'm literally in the dark. The only light more times is the screen.
Yeah, that's actually true. You keep
It's dark, pitch black. It's like, and again, whatever I'm using. So if I'm using some hardware, if it's software, whatever it is.
Okay, as you're saying that, what do you use? What's the equipment that your favorite or your go-tos even?
Okay, what I have MPC 2000. I have MPC Studio. I have Machine Studio. I have Logic X. I have what's it called? Serato Sample. I have Serato Studio.
Okay.
Those would be
interchangeable.
Literally, all of the, and then like my records or whatever.
Yeah.
But those are the shits that I use.
So, okay, you guys dropped some music in the past and recently.
Yes, sir.
Summer, no?
To be honest,
The last thing you guys did?
the last single that we just I released a single called "Still Shine" about 2 weeks ago.
Still Shine. Yes.
It's featuring I James
Yes.
and the homie MD.
Uh-huh.
And if you guys, the pod, your website and whatever is ever so inclined, I came with some exclusives for you guys, just literally for you guys.
Respect.
Hopefully that you guys will be willing to like put on your site.
Respect. Respect.
We have a single coming out December 13th. Featuring I James. It's called Emo Soul. So I brought that for you.
Dope.
And I brought something that he hasn't even seen.
What?
Because that's the thing. I James gonna I'll let I James speak on that one. I won't even say anything. But yes, so we dropped Still Shine a couple weeks ago featuring
Dope.
I James and MD. We got December 13th got Emo Soul featuring I James. A few months back we had Set Me in Motion featuring I James and Phoenix.
There's been a bunch of
Pagliacci.
Sunday something so too.
And then been dropping we mentioned a little bit earlier. Every Sunday I've been dropping. Started in January, dropping a song every Sunday.
Yeah.
A few songs. Can't Guan. Did like a new version of Let's Ride. We did a dub.
Let's Ride the
Chocolair. Yeah, I flipped that. I just chopped that, and then I James spit over that. We did I flipped the Ready or Not sample. We did a track with the homie MD, also Dennis Paisley, who was a part of Pocket Dwellers, saxophone player, plays sax for
Complaints department.
Complaints department.
So, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
No.
But most recently, Still Shine and Emo Soul
all this
coming out.
Groupings and artists and coming together, which I love that. How does that happen? Or
Never.
Give me one word.
Never.
Never. How do you? Okay.
Going even back to what he was saying when I left, because he has stuff that I haven't heard. It's Nana over the last few years has gotten very good at being the most focused man in the room.
Scene.
And
You need one of those.
being very driven with his vision and how it encompasses other people and other voices.
Yeah.
And instead of waiting for the most part, I still make him wait. But he kind of just seems to go and get who he wants, where he wants, and what he wants, and work with people and make the things happen and take old things and make them new and new things and mix them with. And Nana's been sort of the mad genius of
Putting all
of it, yeah. And maybe not as much with everybody, with all the other people involved in the projects, but they all seem to come together because of the push of either Nana reaching or people reaching to Nana and making sure it all works and comes together with his vision.
So basically, relationships that you built.
Yeah.
That's like another reoccurring theme from producers on there. It's about your relationships.
Straight up.
It's about your relationships. Or anybody in the music business, really, it's about your relationships.
Straight up.
Ultimately. So how does that... Is it a session where you guys are together, or is it piece to piece? I'm sure it's
over the years. It's been a lot of different things.
Yeah.
We have. I think both of us share a love of the work more than the industry part of it, though I think there's definitely, ambitions and visions and things that we've succeeded with and done well with and whatnot. But for a very long time, we would just work, get together at least once a week, and just kept working, kept trying things, kept doing tracks, We started as a group called The Names Are Known together.
Oh. Yes.
And we put out 5 EPs, but I think we recorded nearly
5.
I think we recorded nearly 10.
We recorded a bunch. I don't know how many
There's a lot of music.
Blas,
Junior, Lauryn
Hill mixtape, the James mixtape. There was another mixtape of somebody else's. I feel.
Trance.
Oh yeah, but that one never came out.
Oh, the March EP though.
March EP, and then there was
Fly
the
Blah
Blase,
Blah.
Fly Blah Blah. Yeah,
there's a lot of
there's at least 6. There were 6 EPs or mixtapes or whatever you want to call them that we put out, and that was around what? That was like 2010. Like as Casino was in here a little bit earlier mentioning. The last time he had seen me was when Rich and I were living together. Rich Kid and I were living together, and that was when that's what I James is referring to. At that time, we recorded at least one day a week. Every Wednesday, at least every Wednesday, and then at that time as well, I James was hosting. I was spinning every Friday. Or every Saturday, it was Friday and Saturday, whatever it flipped, at Shahosky's, rest in peace of Shahosky's, a spot that was on Queen Street West, just west of Bathurst.
And I was doing Jetting Bang.
Yes, and there was another spot on College that I James was doing a party, a monthly or weekly party. So it would be either on those nights, like after,
right?
We'll come back and record, or designated Wednesday night. A Wednesday every week come to the crib and we record. And like literally it would be either like it would fluctuate of being like, here's the beat, here's the direct, like this is the direction of the song. Or it would be just write. Like whatever, here's the beat, just write whatever. Like
we've always kind of mixed process up. We'll go through a phase of doing it one way and then be like, okay, now what happens if we do it this way? Okay, what happens if...
So through that time, sorry, don't let you take it from here. But like through that time, that's what I James was referencing in terms of, because even still, like from that point, that lasted to like when I left, I moved out with I James. Moved out
from Rich Kid,
from Rich Kid, and like moved out to 2 other spots. Like so, like it started when I was living with Rich, and that one day a week idea continued to 2 other apartments afterwards. So
oh wow.
So it's so you
that's a lot of music.
Exactly.
That's a lot of music.
Exactly. So it got to that point where it was like as the names are known, we were dropping these records, and then it was like what was happening.
And then I started a family, and we realized that touring wasn't going to be
feasible.
It wasn't going to be the same kind of thing. And we realized that at that point that it just made sense for Nana to take the lead and to, instead of doing the Names Are Known thing, like these are DJ Nana releases. And then so that I could play catch up or step away as things needed to go. And the way things have gone, that has... The process is by far more spread out now, depending on what's going on. But like, Nana's still the one person that like, what is every certain amount of months, there's another little batch. Like he's the collector of where the fuck I'm at in life.
The curator.
The
curator of the music. So producer / executive producer / curator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is very cool, actually.
Yeah. You
Because-
need that guy, especially as an artist. If you don't have somebody who's going to, and you might even be the speaking in your relationship, not knowing, you might both need it from each other. Where you need that person that's gonna say, "Okay, stop, it's done, put it out." If you don't, an artist very seldom have that ability for themselves.
Yeah, a lot
I don't
of
know any. In fact, I don't know any. There's always something. Nah, but what if we change that one word? Nah, but we. Oh, okay, but that note is a little off. That you don't hear that. You're gonna always get that.
That was one of the
Need
things
that
that
person.
drove me to, because me and Nana had known each other and worked together and done a bunch of things. We were even doing shows together at the point that, but I went through life stuff.
Yeah, adulthood.
And when I came out on the other side of it, I was kind of stuck with because I play a bunch of instruments, I can do a bunch of things, I love music, I can make music in a million different directions, and trying to figure out what that looked like in terms of putting it out into the world and as like a job or an ambition. I was
You need direction.
I was lost, and that where I've always kind of been difficult and wanted all the creative control. I knew I had to sort of have somebody set me in line, and there's not many people that I trusted
With trust.
to do so.
Yep.
And so, like, for my own life, like, I'm thankful because, I mean, as a DJ that spins records, you can see it. As a DJ, when my favorite is still you as a live show DJ. Because it's just like pouring gasoline on a flame, and you said and I've seen it at dudes who he's filled in for and so it's easy to trust somebody in those situations, even though you still get the like regular,
Because you know they know what they're doing.
There's always still that buck, but like to even begin that process as a difficult artist of being like, okay, all right, and that's how like that's why there's stuff that I haven't heard that he has to play because
you
like
have to
at
do
this
it that
point,
way.
like
You gotta do it that way.
well, and like you have to know where you are at the
Yeah.
thing. Like I'm dealing with 2 kids in life and that stuff, and it's messier
Busy
than you
enough.
would really like sometimes. And so for me at this point, where I used to love being fully in control of all those things, like I can't exert that, but I still love to play, and when I play, I like to play at that game. When I like to work, I like to make art.
The time.
Yeah, and this allows it to be a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That
mean,
makes
the
sense.
kids are getting older, so
But it's-
there's other days.
But you know full well as well, Slang, like with your squad, with with what you guys have been able to do in the last little bit, from the website to the label to the shows to everything to the podcast. It's one thing of, okay, this is what I do. It's another thing of, how am I going to be able to continue what I enjoy doing the way I like it, or how am I gonna make sure that there is a place for what it is that I do and what I like. If there isn't that place there already, then let me create it. So that's kind of where it all kind of came together in a way. Like we were doing all these, we're doing these records, we're putting out these projects, we're doing what we think, again going right back to the initial talk about like not necessarily knowing what we're doing or thinking we know what we're doing. We're seeing all these things happen, we're seeing the change, we believe that we need to be involved, or we would like to be included when people mention this or mention that. So we're doing these things. We're adding our contribution, but then at the same time, we don't feel like our contribution is being accepted, and we're beating our heads against the wall, trying to fit like the circle into the square. When the reality is, why are we trying to force something in a certain way when we need to just continue to do we need to do what we're doing, but make it more of our thing than trying to force it into everybody else's thing. So that's like, once and like once kind of like I guess the separation or when life got in the way, that's kind of when all of that like when it became more clearer for me to figure it out, because like I know why James can attest to this, because I was just getting frustrated. Like I was just like when we were doing everything and living at living in the crib with Rich, I was just getting frustrated. Like I felt like I was just getting like between DJing for Rich, going on the road with Rich, spinning gigs, and then us having our studio time, and then me recording, administering it, or whatever, maybe making the beats or picking the beats that we're working on, whatever it is. It just was just like, yo, like burnout and plus frustration of where is this all going? I don't understand where this is going. I'm too involved in all of this stuff that I can't even step outside and see where
it needs to go.
Exactly. Yeah. So from that break, that necessary break, and like life getting in the way and us having to figure out what we're doing individually, that's where it was just like, oh shit, like come back. All this stuff is sitting here. Let's do something with it.
Everything happens for a reason.
No diggity.
Everything happens for, especially in an artist's life. Everything it has to. Otherwise,
yeah, because if it hasn't, you have to give it one, right?
Yeah.
It's like
everything happens for a reason, or you have to give it one. That's the name of the next album, by the way.
Is it?
I just came up with it. But okay. So before we go any further, we have a little game that we play on the show called Top 5, where we pick a topic and we pick our top 5 on our list. It doesn't matter. Finn's not here to give the rules, so I'm going to give the rules. Doesn't matter what order of that 5 it has to be. It's your personal list. It's going to change in about a second after we give our list. We haven't had new lists. But I don't think we've ever done this one before. But James, it was your pick. You kind of narrowed it down.
Yeah, you mentioned Canadian.
Introduce it.
Are we doing city or nation?
Nation.
All right, so top 5 Canadian rap singles of all time.
So we're going 1 for 1 around the room. We'll go. James will start since it's your topic. We'll go this way.
YOK Sunlight.
Heavy tune. Shout out YOK and Monolith, the whole Monolith. Saw them at the Wu-Tang Beer Fest show. I saw everybody there, by the way. Anyway.
Nice.
Shoot, that was so fast, bro. I'm going to have to say Saukratese, Father Time.
I think the first one that had me bugging would have probably had to been it was either Easy on Motion. Easy on the Motion, Ghetto Concept.
Yeah, that was good. That was going to be my next one if it didn't.
Shout out Mr. Attic.
Mr. Attic just dropped. Mr. Attic, please come to the show.
Yeah, and well, Mr. Attic, can you show your face?
Yeah, quite simply.
Can you
simply?
We just want. Some of us want to know where you're at, man. Like just want to hang, man.
Oh man,
good God.
Big up Attic though.
Every day, all day.
James, number 2.
Blind with the Science Rascals.
Holy shit! I forgot that song.
That video.
That was like our introduction to them, no?
Yeah.
Pretty much. At least
well, if you in Toronto, I feel anyway like.
Yeah.
Because that was on Fit and Ready, and it was on
Cash Crop.
Yeah, so it was the carryover.
Yeah, heavy. Jeez. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say Cardi On With The Show.
All right.
Because I was supposed to be in that damn video.
Oh, word.
I was supposed to be in the damn video, bro. I don't remember why I didn't make it. Probably laziness, like everything else that held back my career. But yeah, On With The Show, and it was probably not my first introduction to him, but like when it was probably the song that made me say, okay, you know,
word up.
Let me let down my Toronto haterade. It's like, okay,
word.
Yeah, you have something. You got something.
Word.
Naughty Dread, and then that. So yeah.
I guess my next one would be Okay, whatever. I'm gonna say 2 just to get it out.
No,
of the
no,
way.
no, you can't say 2.
Okay, word. Okay, I'll
You
just say
gotta
the
hold
1.
it. Yeah.
Then I would have to fall in line with you. Then with Cardi, Naughty Dread.
Yeah, see.
Naughty Dread, Cardinal, official. Yeah.
Heavy tune. That's probably one of my favorite songs of his, period.
Same.
Yeah. 3.
I'm gonna go with an Esplanade choice. I'm gonna go Boiling Point, Concrete Bob.
Heavy beat. One of my all-time favorite beats, period.
What's his name? Scam.
Scam. One of my all-time favorite beats, period.
Yeah,
Anytime I
the
hear
beat.
that, it's just like, yo. I went to
Boiling Point, hot,
last
man.
summer. Is it that summer or this summer? Anyway, all summer's blurred, but it was a Cool G rap show and they opened up for him and they played and they did that.
Oh, word?
I
And
know
it was
Deuce
like,
Deuce is doing a lot
yo.
of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Deuce Deuce was on something with Daniel the last time.
And he,
That's
I,
okay.
I heard he
Something
was like
even more
working with
recent, huh?
Outlaws and all kinds
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff.
Dope. That's dope.
Okay.
That's
That's just what drifts around that
Get in the
Esplanade.
space.
That's what's
Shout
up.
those guys out though. Heavy tune. Let me go more modern with it then. So I'm gonna say I'm just trying to pick which one. Why is the name slipping me? But it's the Drake produced by Just Blaze.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking
What the hell
about.
with
I
the
don't know
Rick
name of the
Ross
song.
is on it?
Is it the new one?
No, not the newer one, the older one. It's on Take Care.
Ooh.
It's your worst nightmare. And there's right here. And what
I don't
she
know the name of the
knows,
song.
and I can't. It's in my phone. I'll come
Modern
back to it.
phrases.
Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back to it. The phone memory, you don't need to remember it. It's in
Exactly.
your phone.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
Nada, you're, what are we, number 4?
Number 3.
You're on 3?
Really Living. Rascals.
Holy shit. Guys are bringing out the gems. Really living the gems. Hi, James. 4?
$29.99 Saukratese Rich Kid.
Wow. Yo, I'm
Unheralded.
forgetting some of these songs.
Unheralded,
Yeah, it's a heavy
but
tune.
it goes on my,
That's a
my
heavy tune.
list.
That's a heavy
My
tune.
personal list.
That is a heavy tune. Canadian singles, top 5. Canadian single, top 5. You know what? Because there was I saw this today. Agile, 20 years in the business. He posted it on Instagram with their first single that Brass Monk put out. I'm not going to pick that song, but I'm going to pick Big.
Word.
That,
I knew you were gonna
and
pick
again, another one of my most
Addict.
favorite beats of
Nah.
all time. Addict's got like... In my
Addict.
top 10 beats of all time, if I sat down and
Addict
thought
is
about it,
disgusting.
you might have 5.
Yeah.
You might have 5.
Yeah.
You might, and I'm talking all hip hop.
Yeah.
He might have 5.
Yeah.
Addict, could you please come to the show? Sir?
Addict. Disgusting.
Please report to the podcast.
Addict.
Thank you, sir. Number 4.
I think I'm gonna go in. Am I allowed to go into R&B?
Yeah, it's singles. We didn't say.
Okay,
Did we say hip hop?
I don't
Okay,
think
no.
it's-
Okay, then Rallying, Julie Black.
That's a heavy
Oh,
tune.
wow.
That's a heavy. Oh, now I gotta think. Are we in 5 already?
That was my 4th.
That's
yeah.
your 4th, but he's going
Yeah.
into 5. So only got 1 left.
Oh
This is when
man.
it gets tough.
Yeah, this does get tough now.
I want to pick something newer though. But I got time, right, James? Go ahead.
Yeah, you do
All right,
actually.
James,
'cause
you're
I'm-
on the clock.
Ah, there's so many choices. Where do we
But
go?
we have an honorable mention round always.
Yo, I'm gonna go back to the Rascals for Dreaded Fist.
I can't argue.
It's either Dreaded Fist or it's either Really Living or Dreaded Fist. Yeah.
Yeah, was that Chemo?
Yeah, Chemo. Yep. Chemo did everything.
Chemo's
Yeah.
underrated though.
Oh,
Chemo's
is he
underrated.
ever? Is he ever?
All right, so yeah, I have to pick it. I was trying to pick something more modern, but as everybody knows, Saukratese is probably my favorite Canadian artist of all time.
Word.
And Action is probably my favorite song from him.
Yeah.
Whew, which one?
The original.
Yeah, both are disgusting
Both
to
are
me.
heavy.
Yeah.
But what I
But no, but
realized-
that's the original.
That's There's no bass in that song, right?
No, it's just a heavy ass kick.
Heavy guitar.
Yeah. But see, okay, well we gotta we gotta double back on that.
Oh,
no, because
fine.
no, I was just gonna say no. As you mentioned that in terms of like the production, like I mean, like think of a lot of your favorite hip hop songs. Mm-hmm. They don't have all the traditional elements of quote unquote music that is prescribed, and like going back to what we were talking about the beats and or like when like me shopping beats to people or whatever right. I remember that was always like one of the biggest gripes that people would always complain about the fact that I didn't have a bass line, and it would be like there's some beats that do and some beats that don't, but yeah, it doesn't always have to, like yeah, exactly, it's like
and that's what sorry to cut you off,
not
but
even
within the process of making a beat in front of an artist, I feel that vibe and that synergy is much more likely, because you're feeling what I'm feeling at the time that I'm feeling
exactly.
Whereas we sat here before we started the podcast, and the two of them were here, and we're going through beats, and she'll say something like, "Oh, this reminds me of Alicia Keys," and I'm thinking, "What? I never." And he'll say, "Oh no, this reminds me of Busta Rhymes." And like, what? Like, where did those meet? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I made it with who knows, New Edition in mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
There's nothing. So I'd rather the artist come to the studio. Anyway, sorry, that was my
mini rant. Don't apologize. Nah, that's I totally get it.
Number 5 for you?
Yeah, my number 5.
Yeah.
I was gonna go. Should I go modern just off the strength?
Yeah.
Just cause, or should I just keep it to the?
Ain't no rules.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll change in 2 seconds.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna say that my 5th pick is gonna go to. I would like to take it somewhere else, but I'm trying. But I would like to be authentic to I would like to be authentic to myself, but I want to be real in terms of like what was something that I literally was rinsing all the damn time versus it just giving something a shout out. And it has to be something off of Rap Essentials 1.
Yeah. Legendary compilation.
The record.
Legendary. That in the grass.
Yeah, I gotta do it. Structure Foundation.
Which one?
I mean, Structure and Foundation. What's it?
Citizen King?
Was it Citizen King? Yeah, it was Citizen King. Yeah.
You picked the obscure one right there.
Cause I wasn't, cause it's either you're gonna go pick Down to Earth. I don't want to pick I wasn't down. I was like, I had to go Structure Foundation. Yeah, Citizen King.
Spade, I would like to get on the show as well.
Another OG.
But okay, yeah, that was a top five. Good work. Any honorable mentions? Anyone? Bueller?
I was gonna he called it Canadian. I was gonna I respect the Canadian. I was just gonna take it to the songs of me thinking of hip hop. Mm-hmm. The first song that I remember that was hip hop that I remember it was yesterday. I can still remember what the cassette looks like. 5 Minutes of Funk.
What?
Houdini. Is it Houdini? Is it? Yeah. 5 Minutes of Funk. Yeah. That shit. Oh, I remember first hearing that.
That's hip hop wherever you hear that.
Yeah. So it would be 5 Minutes of Funk, and then I'll definitely have to go again if I'm going chronological order of things that I remember, then it has to be Energy, Kid and Play.
Oh.
Then it has to go to The Wick. The Gangstar.
Legendary.
Then it's got to go. I have to drop something.
I don't think we've
anything Wu-Tang.
Done a top five hip hop songs.
Word.
I don't think we ever did that. So we might have to invite you guys back.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Time's up.
Yeah.
Time's up.
Yeah, time's up. But what I was thinking, honorable mention, keeping to the theme, is we didn't do people like Bryan Adams music.
Oh, word. Word.
Celine Dion and Platinum Blonde and all these other groups, you know what I mean?
Because if you're going to do that, then I'm going to go Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, we didn't go outside the box.
Fleetwood Mac you out there. No. Like that's what like Fleetwood Mac is one of my favorite groups ever.
All time?
Yeah, ever.
See, you have to have a
Yeah, I gotta tell you a story about Landslide later.
eclectic ear. But okay, so what's next for the Manum? What do you guys? I mean, you're promoting a single that you just dropped. What's next? Is there a project coming out of soon or anything like that, or what do you? Is there a next?
I laugh because I was leaving to see if this guy was gonna jump in, and then he just turned and looked at me. That's why I laughed. That's why I laughed in my head.
Yay! We spent some time talking about the roles. That's your role, clearly, brother.
Well, I appreciate being able to. I fought hard to be given the opportunity to be accepted to have the role because cats weren't always listening. Like, yeah, it wasn't like cats were always listening to me, or now apparently I know what I'm talking about now. Whatever, I'm just being a hater, but I mean,
don't kill me.
They're okay. In all honesty, the I James album had like songs like Can't Guan, Little Hands, was it In Too Deep, Go Get It. Like
these are songs that are already out.
These are songs that have been put out as Sunday Somethings.
Okay.
But these were songs that were on his album.
Right.
So I basically, before I did all of this, I created an album. Like, I literally was like, dude, like, you might not agree with this or you like it or not,
so
but I created an album.
Yeah.
And that album then turned into other things. Set Me in Motion was another song that was on his album. So there is still there is another album that I've made. What I've been getting in the habit of doing, like, just out of fun, is like remixing shit. Right. So like, yeah, like I've took something old and then like literally that, from the Nipsey stuff to a whole bunch, like, just been remixing stuff. So there are a whole heap of songs. In terms of the I James Jones project, I don't know when. Like, there is no slated date. Apart from that, it's been the DJ Nana 6-packs. Yeah. So where we have Set Me in Motion, featuring I James and Phoenix Pagliacci. That was off of the DJ Nana 6-pack 1. DJ Nana 6-pack 2 has Still Shine.
Is Phoenix still part of sororities already?
No.
Okay. I just saw a picture and I was thinking about that.
I just saw a picture saying this is the last sorority tour. Like, okay, so I guess this new sorority is the last sorority.
Sorority is no sorority anymore.
Yeah, like apparently, like I saw that and I was like, okay.
So it happens.
Like, yeah, no doubt. Solo careers, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, sorry. Yeah. As far as the I James project, I don't know. As far as like I James project was once the names are known, and now it's solely I James project. But that said, under the moniker of DJ Nana 6-packs, there's always going to be, like, I have 6 of them done. Like, what people don't, we're on number 2. There's 6-packs done. So there'll always be one song featuring I James. Right. But there is a album of music. The last set of songs that he's recorded at, like, my new spot have contributed to this, like, to the new songs. I haven't even really touched any of them. Like, literally, I haven't even from once he's recorded them. I might have tweaked them maybe 1 or 2 times ever since, but they've been sitting, and not sitting like in the sense of like I'm kicking them to the curb. It's just like, I think you kind of come to understand, like, kind of my process with some of this stuff. Like, we have some stuff already slated, so all the newer stuff, I ignore it because it's there. Like, there's other stuff that needs to come out before it.
So
the thing that I think has worked with that as our process is, like, I like the work and just where I'm at on a bunch of different levels. The other part, like, I'm down.
Yeah.
But, like, my
So when you say
first...
the work, you mean the creative?
Yeah, I love to do the creative side.
Right.
When it comes to the other part, like, when we're talking about jobs and, like, then, you know, if I can feed my family doing that, I can do that, but I gotta feed my family.
Yeah.
And I gotta get other, like, I'm a depressive human who
Obligation.
is dealing with figuring all
You're an
that
adult.
stuff out. So I get to check in and leave a bunch of stuff, and, like, to me, I know we're using it, I know it comes out, I know it becomes part of his vision, which is beautiful till I can get back to my vision, you know what I mean?
Right.
Which, like, comes as well, because I'm gonna make music till I stop breathing. And again, going back to, like, this kind of collaborative approach, which is a message for everybody who's too stubborn to take anybody else in. It's like, these are the things that sustain you when everything goes otherwise, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Music
I
is
think
your
anyway,
life.
and that's how I see it anyway.
So I was gonna ask, sorry now.
No worries.
Do you mix, master, and produce? Like, what do you? Just literally on the music side of, from start to finish. What do you involve yourself in?
I tend to record. Like, I mean, like, majority of the vocals are the people who have recorded with me. 9 times out of 10, I recorded the actual session.
See, okay. That's even more of a immaculate feat to get these guys in to record.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah, you know what it is. Yeah.
Right there,
you know,
brother.
to be in the same place. Yeah. You know exactly what it is. It's
I'm thinking some of these are phone-ins or they send-ins or whatever. You know what I mean? In this day and age.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
No
wow,
doubt.
Okay.
So I produce. I've been working with one engineer for the longest. His name is Ian Terriold, aka Project. So he mixes, like, or he's the mix engineer. His job is he's an engineer, like, literally, like, whether TV, music, whatever, that's what he does as his 9 to 5. I've been lucky enough to have a relationship with him that's almost like 20 years long. So he knows how I like shit to sound. So we're at the point right now where I can literally be like, yo, dude, deal with it. I was, for the previous releases, like, I mean, the 6-packs, we went to a gentleman, forgive me, I can't remember his name right now, but I was referred to him, and he's a mix engineer, mastering engineer, sorry.
Okay.
But since then, I've left Ian. Ian's been the dude who's been mixing and mastering everything for me. But then there are some things that, yes, I do. I mix it myself.
Right.
When we were dropping the Names Unknown stuff,
all that stuff.
That was all me. That was all
mixing.
mixed, mastered, whatever. That was all me. Now, like, if anything, the thing that changes is I'll, like, because again, I'm stubborn like this. Like, sometimes I will track the beat, like, I mean stems.
Right.
Majority of the time, you're getting a 2-track.
Same
Thing with some of the songs. Sometimes I'm just giving mix and master this 2-track.
Okay.
Literally, and I mean, this has been the trial and error of things that I've done in terms of either I've gotten married to the way something sounds, and when we clean it up, it sounds too clean versus to what I like, versus in comparison to what I've just learned over the course of the years of, like, listening to other people's mixes and hearing other people's processes. It's just like, I'm into really doing my best in creating my sound. Yeah. So in creating my sound, I'm trying to create, like, the distinction.
You're trying to find it at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
that's interesting. Hi, James. We were talking about... We're going to wrap up soon.
No worries.
But what I wanted to touch, you play a multitude of instruments. Can we get the list? Is it that, or is it... I mean, say you play damn near everything.
I can... See, if I'm in if you play a guitar, you don't think I can play a guitar. If you play keys, you probably don't think I'm a keys player. I can communicate on anything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I can bang on we can make a song with the walls and the thing and make something cool with the keyboard, and you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I played drums, like
that's your instrument.
You know what I mean? The drums it was first. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I play guitar like a drummer. I write a lot on guitar, and I'll write a little bit on keys and stuff. But everything makes a sound. Yeah. You find a way to make a cool series of sounds, and now you play that. Hip-hop. I play pan flute like a motherfucker.
Pan flute?
Pan flute, man. Pan flute. If it's there, I
What's
can.
What's a pan flute? Is that
it's like the one where you blow
the tubes?
Yeah.
See.
And like, I can't play somebody else's song, but I can play you a song on it. You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
And that's kind of...
The baby could use you right now, because everything he does has a...
Pretty much has a
flute.
Straight up.
Make some tracks and send it to me.
Up.
I'm not opposed to these ideas.
Why not? So what's... So we don't know what's next is what we're saying, but right now...
A whole lot of... Even when nothing's happening, lots of I'm writing, I'm working, and when the time's right, stuff will come.
We gotta do something. I got some creative juices going because I need to do something. I'm feeling musically stagnant. I can't lie to you guys right now.
Yeah,
something has to.
That's one of the phases too, though. I think
it is.
And I mean, it can't be the forever phase. But like, we're people first. We're men first. We have to have those things. Otherwise, I mean, it sounds boring when people are regurgitating the same life over and over again.
Yeah, life. That's why I don't understand how these guys can put out projects after every month. Because I keep saying this, life has to happen for me. I have to feel something to want to make you feel something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's what you just said. It's just a constant regurgitation of what I already felt. And that's boring. To me. Which might make it boring to you. But yeah. You ready to say something?
No, I was just gonna say I respect what you're saying. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, I was gonna say I hope I didn't make it seem like I'm down. When you're ready to work, let me know. I'm always down. I'm down. I'm always down to fuck with anybody. And then the third thing I was gonna say in light of that is just it's interesting where it's you're looking for the inspiration. Mm-hmm. You're looking for the inspiration, and as you say, life, the things that happen in your life is what can contribute to the inspiration. Yes. So you're allowing that to happen to you, whereas it's are you literally just going in there and saying anything?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And or have you forgotten how to vent? Because I think, or have you forgotten how to have fun? Because I mean, that's the one thing. I know James has probably been sick of me saying. I've said that to him for as long as I've known him. Mm-hmm. I've said to him if you do this, mm-hmm. then you're just if you do this naturally, then what's the problem? It doesn't matter what we're doing. Yeah. There shouldn't be any expectation of where it goes. There shouldn't be he shouldn't be creating all these big plans or whatever, because this is just naturally what you do.
Right.
So whether or not other people hear it, or you just take this home and play it for yourself, you do it. Mm. Versus if you have intentions of where it goes and this, that, and the third, then if you have all these intentions, then you need to all equally slow your roll in a certain degree and allow yourself just to do, because you can get into the process of talking about all this stuff while there's nothing being done. To go back to what you were even talking about when you were playing the beats. Yeah. It's just I personally get irritated when I have those sort of situations when it's, that sounds like this, that sounds like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, it sounds like all those things. What is it that you're looking for?
Exactly.
Do you know what sounds you're looking for?
They don't.
Exactly. Literally.
9 times out of 10, they
don't. So then, that's part of the honesty.
They have to admit that.
Exactly. And that's how we can get somewhere.
Right.
if you're not saying that,
there's also the other point of realization. They also have to realize that. Sometimes you don't. Again, sometimes you'll come in, I want this. I'm not getting this, but I'm getting something else, but I want this. I told myself this is what I want before I got here. So
exactly.
I went into the store saying I wanted a blue shirt. I see this bad green shirt, but man, I'm wearing blue tonight.
Exactly.
So where's the blue shirts? I'll take a worse blue shirt. Just because I've convinced myself. And these are,
Because if you wear that one green shirt, you're gonna have to get a green pair of pants to go beside it, and then you're gonna need like
it takes you on a different
beige
journey.
hat to make the
And you have to be self-awareness is a very scarce commodity. Most
Straight
people
up.
don't have that. So therefore, you're not even realizing that you've convinced yourself you want a blue shirt while you're listening to this badass green shirt beat. Like, you know what I mean?
And then on another thing, I know we're getting out of here, and I don't want to keep everybody, but I got on that same note. That's like, it's funny. Like I was gonna say this when you first asked me about like the creative process and all that sort of stuff, and I stopped. But like now I'm gonna
let
say
it out, brother.
Like
Church.
I like first when it came to the relationships or the features or whatever. In one degree where I've been lucky is been able to work like as a DJ, as being like a tour DJ or being a performance DJ for a bunch of different artists.
Right.
So that's how some of the relationships or the opportunities to do records came.
Right.
Then the other opportunity, and where people don't ever like to admit it, is money. Like I paid these people
Right.
to do verses or whatever and whatnot. With in whichever phase or whichever direction that I've taken, I've found myself reverting back to not even like I'm not paying for a feature ever again.
That's how you feel now.
That's like, and it's no disrespect to any of the artists that I've paid, that I worked with, or I paid for. Literally, it has nothing to do with them. It's not because I'm mad at them or I'm pissed off or anything. It's just simply being like, what the fuck, man? Like, I am in this creating this thing.
Right.
I'm not trying to, like, if I have to convince you either to be on this beat,
right,
or I have to entice you to be on this beat,
right,
then I'm not necessarily going to get the best song.
It's not the most pure
and
organic.
then doubling back to what I was saying, something that I've always said that I James to the same degree of like in the creating process is like, it's one thing of me being your vocal coach,
right,
but like if you yourself aren't confident with what you're saying,
yes,
I can't tell you that was a good take.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to be at your your maximum potential or whatever. You have to feel 100% confident of what was done here on the mic before, and then I will work with what I'm given. So that in itself right there is okay. Well, if you're only motivated by this money that I've given you to now give me your best.
Is it your best?
Is it your best? And then is it your best when I know I paid you, and then like the response to everybody else is like, this is the dopest song ever. And then that now is the motivation for me to do another, like for that artist to come to me now and be like, yo, we need to do another song. But then it's like, you're still expecting money. You're not doing it because you're actually
paying me this time.
You're not doing it because you're trying to create. You're doing it because you see other people's response to the song that you got paid for, and now you're like, oh, let's do more. So through all of that and seeing where how people do this
the game,
where all the different directions and how people have been approaching the game right now. Now it's just like, yo, I'll either spit, I'll either just drop a beat tape, like, you know what I'm saying, like or grab acapellas. Like there's so many, like, or
options.
Get at slang, or get at iTunes, or like, you know, like get at the homegrown and build something, create something, versus just trying to do, like, again, going right back to, oh, that sounds like this person or sounds like that person. Okay, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you creating a vibe? Are you creating a lane for yourself? Are you creating a sound? Or are you just doing something that everybody else is doing?
We actually had a little, like, in our Gold Era WhatsApp group, we had this little discussion just yesterday, saying that it's got to start reaching out to these people who don't have followings, these artists that we just think are dope, but they don't have followings, and build with them. That's been another reoccurring theme with producers on this show. Find yourself an artist that you can grow with.
Straight.
And just keep growing with them. And if you swing from vine to vine like Tarzan. Like you find one, grow with him. If he outgrows you, you find another one,
Straight.
grow with them and keep going. That's as a producer, especially in this day and age, that's what you have to do. So I agree with you.
No doubt.
20%.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And that's the part of it that's funny too, is like, what are these relationships that we're actually have? Like, that was another thing. Like, I guess I'll stop blabbing after this. That was that part of like the conversation that we were having on the way up here too, is just like, what you start out with these relationships or with these people, and almost on some attitude, not like with the attitude of like, we're going to be doing this forever.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, like, everybody separates, or you're not doing this anymore. Or when you have those relationships and you still have those relationships and you're still working with people are like, it's almost like they're looking at you like, oh, you're still, like, it's almost like
you still work with the same people?
Yeah. It's like one part of it being like commendable, but then another part of it being like, what are you doing that for, sort of thing.
Yep.
So like, again, like, that's like, when you offered the opportunity for us to come up here, when I doubled back to James, it's like, yo, I've been seeing what these guys they've been doing. Like, I feel what they're doing, and it's I think I said exactly, like, this is exactly what everybody's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you have to create your own lane.
Yep.
You have to have your squad or whatever, and you have to believe in your shit and build it up. Ironically, like, at one point, like, I think when I first got onto, like I was telling James, when I first got onto to IG, I reached to Finn. And it was just because I saw some video that he might have shot for somebody, and I was just like, yo, eventually I'm gonna get at you.
Yeah.
Like, I still having it, but then I mean, now fast forward, I'm seeing all the things that he's doing, and it's just like, yeah, of course, because this is what he does. This is what he threw himself out here to do. Like, and like you said, like in what you guys are discussing in the group chat, the willingness to work with those people who are willing to work.
Yes.
That's the
Best
difference.
way to put it. Willing to work with those who are willing to work.
Because that's the difference.
And I just don't want to just leave it with just that side of it, because there is a business side of it.
Oh, totally.
You do have to know, but the most important part of that business side to me is you gotta put it out.
Straight.
There's way too many, and I was a victim of this. We talk about this all the time.
We all have been
hoarding.
Victims. Yeah.
Just hoarding beats. Snooze is just putting out his beat tape.
That's all that.
The first one. And producing for almost 30 years. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
And dope.
And making dope beats. What are we doing? So, yes, you want to make the masterpiece, the greatest thing you've ever made. That will come. Just put it out. Just put it out. And on that note, I want to give your social medias where people can reach you guys, where people can reach out if they want music, they want something written, they want all of that. A host for a party, even a DJ.
For James, it'd be Arta Jones on either Instagram or Facebook, or ijamesjones.com, where all the things collect themselves.
See.
So that's www.ijamesjones.com or @Art of Jones. @Art of Jones. As for me, DJNana.com, working on eartoomuchcollective.com is coming soon, or eartoomuch.com coming soon. Otherwise, it's DEEJAYNANA, and that's pretty much everything from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud. It is DJ Nana, NANA, but Somebody else stole it. I was lucky enough to get the website. I got the website. I got the .com. So DJNana.com is me.
But back up now.
Yeah, exactly. But all the other I got the .com, but everything else they beat me to it. So at DEEJAYNANA, and hopefully, if we get the blessing, like after we've done shooting, recording this, I'll show Mr. Slang Hughes this little piece. It's actually out. It's actually the teaser preview to part 1 of I James's story.
Scene.
So yeah. So the it's about 2 minutes long, or like just under 3 minutes long. Yeah, as you guys are already doing it. Stay up with Golden Era. Stay up with Golden Era.
Respect. Big respect for that. Like that, just that's one of those things. Again, you throw it out there and you're hoping people are catching it, and people seem to be catching it, man. Sometimes we don't even think they're catching it. So it's a good thing.
It's because you're doing it, dude.
We're just because we
gotta do. Yeah, like you said, just do it.
Gotta do it. Nike said it a long time ago. Slang you everywhere. You get me slang you at slang you everywhere. Twitter, whatever. I'm not even on most of these things that you're gonna look for me on. But I got a page. I just probably not on it. That's the thing. So that's at slang you everywhere. GoldenEraMusic.com. Merch, music, everything is up there. You also find our podcast on YouTube as well as SoundCloud. I've been loafing on putting the podcast up on YouTube because it takes forever. But I'm gonna get back to that. But this has been the Lab Chronicles. Thank DJ Nana, James Jones for coming through.
Thank you for having us.
We had some deep conversation today, boy. I'll tell you that. Finn, you missed out. We got deep Leviathan, deep, and we out. Peace.